Welcome back to Fox News Alert. High-level meetings are about to get underway in Brussels at any moment right now with President Trump and world leaders.
This after NATO allies finally agree to pay their fair share for defense after a lot of tough talk over the past year from the president.
Joining us now is national security analyst Dr. Rebecca Grant. Thanks for joining us this morning. So you just heard Rob mention some tough talk over the last year. We heard it yesterday in regards to Germany. What do you expect today?
Yes, well, first of all, NATO is first and foremost a military alliance, and it's never been stronger. These militaries get on great. What they're going to be talking about going forward is the position of some of the neutrals like Finland and Sweden. And the subtext here, it's all about Russia. NATO has done a lot, including deploying 4 new multinational battle groups in the Baltic republics and Poland, and they're doing a lot to counter the increasing threats from Russia.
When you really look at this agreement, I love that, we get along with 29 other countries enough that we all have each other's backs, and it sounds really great. But at the end of the day, for the United States, does it really matter whether or not Lithuania covers us if we get into a war? But on the other side of it, it's such a great deal for these smaller countries to have access to the United States military. They have these very small defense budgets, and then they ask us to help them if they ever get into a conflict.
It's better for them than us.
Yeah, they're getting the deal of a lifetime, right?
Well, it's a global security problem, and NATO has almost 1 billion residents. There's no question the countries need each other. We need them, they need us, and the U.S. does pay a lot, but the power of this alliance is amazing, and we see that in Afghanistan. Right now, today, there are 20,000 NATO forces deployed in places like Afghanistan, counter-piracy, missions in Africa. So this collective defense is far stronger than anything else we could do. Lithuania sits right up there on the border with an increasingly aggressive Russia, and we want Lithuania. Also, don't forget, there's a cyber element, so we want these 29 nations together.
Well, you mentioned Russia. All of this, of course, in advance of the summit scheduled for next week with Vladimir Putin. How do you see this setting that up?
It is just perfect that President Trump goes to his first big formal meeting with Putin right after this NATO summit. NATO's expansion and the strong military alliance, this just drives Putin crazy. It's the last thing he wanted to see. And so it puts Trump in a really strong position. Trump has a lot to talk about on the military side with Russia. The situation in Syria, the aggression that we see around the Baltics and really around the world. And of course, the huge Russian cyber threat and meddling in Western democracies. So I think coming out of a powerful NATO summit with the 28 other members behind him is the perfect way to start things off with Putin.
Well, for somebody that's colluding with Russia, he sure went after this deal that is worth billions of dollars to Russia yesterday. And that deal is a natural gas deal and the pipeline with Germany. The Democrats were quick to say that he's attacking our allies by calling out Germany yesterday and the fact that they only pay about 1% of their GDP into defense. But isn't that going to make NATO stronger by calling them out?
No question, NATO needs to be stronger. They actually have started spending more since they all agreed to do it back in 2014, but they need to continue with that. There's a lot of modernization that's necessary. So Trump makes a fair point in saying they need to increase that. And hey, NATO agrees. They are committed to try to increase it. About 20 of the countries have bumped up their defense budgets a little bit. We need to see more. And Trump makes a fair point about the pipeline. I think Chancellor Merkel is able to handle his outspokenness. So Trump, most of all, wants to put the U.S. on a strong economic foundation for our security going forward. We have a long time to deter and compete with China, Russia, and others. And Trump makes #1 priority having a strong economic foundation for our military and defense strategy. That's why he's bugging NATO to pay more and do more.
Well, look, he's got a different style. Now it's time to see how everybody responds. Dr. Rebecca Grant, thank you.
Thank you.